wanderers of the soul, welcome to Building a Sacred Sanctuary. I'm Wiley, and this podcast is my real-time documentation of becoming, healing, rebuilding, loving myself more deeply, and creating a life rooted in authenticity and connection. Whether you're starting over, chasing a dream, or simply trying to remember who you are, I'm glad you're here. So grab your coffee, settle in, and let's grow something sacred together. Hey Wanderers, welcome back. This is the first episode of season 2, and our first episode, we do have a guest. We haven't had a guest yet on Wonder Why Building a Sacred Sanctuary. So welcome, Josh. He is an old college buddy of mine, so this is going to be chill and real laid back. Josh is the founder of Lightsey Loops. He is also building something from the ground up, so I'm pretty excited to have Josh here with us. If you hear me call him Chives, that is because that's what I've called him since college, so don't make fun of me. That is his nickname. I might tell you the story a little bit later, but for now, let's just jump in with Josh here. Josh, thank you for joining me on Wonder Why Building a Sacred Sanctuary. As you are building a sacred sanctuary of your own, in a sense, I know that you are leaving behind your old project, J Wheels, and kind of starting something new, Lightsey Loops. Can you tell me a little bit about Lightsey Loops and kind of what sparked that for you?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, first off. It's really, really awesome. And I'm happy to be a part of your journey as well. I'll say Lightsey Loops is kind of reinventing my own wheel, kind of.
No pun intended.
Yes. Yeah. So J Wheels was, and a lot of people still know me as that. There's people that won't stop calling me that. That's part of engraved into who I am. That started as a nickname, grew into just using it for my music moniker. And so I hit this crossroad to say, what can I do with my music that's more entertaining than just a guitar and singing songs, which, to the ordinary listener, somebody that can play guitar, sing, and write music is fairly entertaining. But to a musician who's been doing it for a long time, it's just like, that's just another guy that can play guitar, right? So, it's not it doesn't have that same spark. And so Lightsey Loops, there's a way I could say, like, I've done a lot of stuff behind the scenes with not just J Wheels, but also like producing music for other artists. So a lot of things behind the scenes that gets unnoticed. Like I sit here in my studio for, sometimes 12 hours, sometimes 12 weeks working on a project that somebody listens to for 3 minutes and makes up their mind on whether they like it or not. So I was like, this is frustrating, and I don't want to bring cameras down here and show everybody my work, because then that makes more work for me than music production already is, in like the editing and trying to edit videos and content and all that. And I was like, I don't want to do that, because now I'm putting all my time into content creation instead of just creation. And
Right.
so, how can I bring what I'm creating to a stage level, like to the people, live? And so that's where Lightsey Loops was born. It was a way of me saying, I'm going to go ahead and get all the equipment I need to be able to basically produce songs in front of people live on stage. So from the ground up.
No, I love that. And before we go any further on Lightsey Loops, I want to get a little bit of background from you as well. So I know that you left J Wills, and I know at some point something no longer resonated with you when it came to that. So can you tell me, why maybe that doesn't resonate with you anymore, or, what gave you the inspiration to just completely go clean slate with Lightsey Loops?
Yeah. The biggest part is J Wheels is something that kind of makes people kind of, I don't know, when I'm trying to book shows, I started feeling like I'm not being taken serious. Like, don't get me wrong, I've got a humorous side of me. I don't want people to take me serious all the time. But when it comes to my music, I'm very passionate about it. And so when I'm trying to build up a brand and stuff, then it was like people in my own hometown were just like, that's not Jay Wheels. That's Josh. I went to high school with him. Right. And so it, it creates this thing where people think you're living two lives essentially. Like,
Yeah.
you know, that's Josh trying to pretend like he's something he's not. And so I was like, it's harder to get behind, for the ones locally. And like, not that my support needs to all be local, because I'm not about that, but but I did start to kind of look at it from like an outside perspective. Like I think one day I had kind of an out of body experience where I was kind of like, oh, that's that's who you have been. Like, you're like let's get to the nitty and gritty. Basically, when I release music, I think my name's Josh Lightsey, and there is no other Josh Lightsey. And so the the initial reason for changing the name in the first place was there's another Jay Wheels that popped up, and I'm
Mhm.
trying to separate my music from his music. And he doesn't release near as much music, but he's featured on songs. So every time he gets featured on a song, it gets released, it gets tagged under my stuff. My stuff gets tagged under his stuff. The money all went to the right spot, but like when I tell people go look me up, I don't want you
Mhm.
finding his stuff and confusing it with mine, because this other J Wheels says things that this J Wheels would not say.
Right.
So, um, lightly put. And so I I think that was the first time where I was like, there is no other Josh Lightsey. If I just release music under my name, like I would, I think there's more of this authenticity that comes to the table. Like, I mean, there's so many artists out there that when they changed their name, they blew up,
Mhm.
like,
Now don't lie. Did you like some of his stuff?
well, no,
No.
I'm just gonna be honest.
Don't go look him up, guys.
Not worth it. I think honestly, well, it's just styles too, like it was just kind of weird. I was trying to go to more of this acoustic style with music stuff and get a kind of veer away from the hip hop side. Like, hip hop is still intertwined in what I do, but I don't want that to be my primary. Like, I don't
Right.
want to be known as a rapper. And like,
Right.
this guy wants to be known as a rapper. And so,
Gotcha.
so it was like creating this, like, who, is it him? Like, I'd have people confused, like, why is this song, did you release this? And I'm like, no, I did
No,
not.
don't. That ain't me.
So
I'll
I
be
have to reach
secret.
out. Then you have to reach out to Spotify. Like, I reached out to my distributor, and they were terrible at trying to get it fixed. So I had to reach out to all the platforms like Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, Amazon Music, just to name a few. Like,
Mhm.
I had my stuff out to over 20 platforms. So I'm having to reach out to all these platforms to get this corrected. And that's
Mhm.
not any way I want to spend my life. Like, I released I I released an EP that I since took down when I with the rebranding. I'll get it put back up eventually, but I released an EP called 222. Me and my wife got married on the 22nd of February.
Yeah.
So for our anniversary, I released a 5 song EP where it was kind of taking you on a love journey. It was very fun. But the thing is when I released that, it was supposed to release on our anniversary, and like we were away out of state, like celebrating our anniversary. And I wake up in the hotel, and all of my EP and everything is all listed under this other J Wheels. I just got this fixed with my prior release before that. So like there was no rectifying this, and it was just gonna like, okay, so this is gonna happen every time I release something, and I've got to go through all these loops and hoops,
No pun intended again.
No pun intended. There might be several puns. You might learn. I like intending puns. But yeah, that was really the big thing. Like, just why not just release songs that I write under my name? It's a lot easier. Transparency's there. Like, you know who it is. I'm not hiding behind another name. Like,
Mhm.
it was a nickname, for crying out loud. Like, it wasn't
Right.
something I
Someone
came.
else. Yeah, someone else gave it to you.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was a bunch of little kids at a skating rink, and then also my youth group. Like they just they called me that. It wasn't like it wasn't even a music related name at all. Like, you
Do you
know,
feel like Lightsey Loops, like, resonates, gives you more peace?
yeah, yeah. It's like, who is it? Lightsey, like Josh Lightsey. That's who like,
Yes.
so like I can point people in I can point people in the direction to my music. Like when I release something, they get to know me on a more personal level. They feel more connected with me. But then when they go look up my music, it'll all be released under Josh Lightsey.
Yeah.
So I'm choosing not to release music under Lightsey Loops. Not to make this more confusing for people, but I want to release my music under Josh Lightsey. Lightsey Loops is the live music experience.
Mhm.
When you see me live, who is it? Lightsey. What's he do? Loops.
So we've already kind of touched base on it, but you are starting this from the ground up pretty recently. So kind of a two-part question.
Sure.
What so far has been the hardest part of starting this from scratch? And then also, what's the most freeing part that you found so far starting this from the bottom up?
Interesting question. I like that. I would say the most challenging part right now has been all the new technology at my feet. Like, you thought it was hard enough playing guitar and singing a song from beginning to end, but now I've got a bunch of buttons at my feet and trying to create muscle memory to know when to click what buttons. Like, it's a lot. And like, not even that, but like, you learn how to use it. But as you go, you figure out that all these buttons on like my loop station, I've got 9 foot switches on there, and all of them, I can configure them to do whatever I want. So where out of the box, and naturally this button will start and stop the recording, and this button,
Mm.
you know, well, I can change it to where the buttons completely, like, this button now turns effects on and off instead of, so like when I want like a delay or reverb on my voice, I can kick that on with the foot switch and set. But it's so confusing because when I remap buttons to make them do what I know they do, the label on the foot, the label at my feet says start and stop,
And I actually want to pause you there
Yeah.
because I was talking to a friend and I wonder why I rolled out less than a year ago for me. I really started putting time into it last summer. And since then, I've built my website and I'm editing podcasts and stuff. And it's kind of getting to a point where it's almost second nature. I can go on and just make quick edits to my website. I can edit a podcast pretty quickly now. And I was talking to a friend and they just looked at me like, wow, like that looks so challenging. Do you ever pause for a minute and look back and realize that there's not many people that can do what you do at that level, you know? On the large scheme of things, you're a sand pebble on a beach of the people that can do that and just be, like, so proud of yourself for what you're doing because it took someone else looking in and being like, "Holy crap, like, you're doing it." And I'm like,
Sure.
yeah, I guess I am, and that's just been less than a year. So are there moments where you have that you just look back and you're just proud of yourself?
Yeah, I think the biggest one is that, like, I get overwhelmed sometimes that I have all this stuff, but then I remember that there was like 12-year-old me would have not believed you that I would have all the equipment that I have today. Like,
Mhm.
it was once a dream inside of my head, and now I have it.
Mhm.
Once I have it, I try to create another problem out of it. Oh man, this is hard. Like, okay, well, it's supposed to be like, if you wanted easy, you should have just kept doing what you were doing. Like, and so, yeah, it's like, there's, there's times where it's challenging, but then I step back and I remember like how much I wanted this, and like,
Yeah.
and that feeling that I had, and I don't like, and how devastated I would be if I didn't have it. So I think that pushes me to keep going through those technical dilemmas that I have and breakdowns, like trying to, like, my studio is a mess of cables and wires that I'm trying to figure out ways that makes it easier for me to set it up on a stage. Like
Mhm.
as of right now, my setup time, I haven't been able to get down to like less than, I think the quickest I've been is an hour, and the
Yeah.
longest it's taken me is an hour and a half. But I'm setting up like an entire, essentially like recording studio on stage. It's not just a guy with a guitar and a mic. And so, like, some venues don't allow you the hour and a half that you need to make sure that everything's lined up.
Yeah, you
And
gotta get
so,
up there, get it done.
yeah. And so, like, I'm trying to get everything a lot quicker, like labeling cables and stuff to make it quicker for me to plug it all in and just trial and error. Like, to be honest, some of my rehearsal time is just tearing it all down and setting it back up. Like,
Mhm.
which sounds ridiculous, but that's part of practicing. That part helps me in the moments when I am setting it up and tearing it down. Like that, there's some places that only allow you 5 minutes to get up on a stage and be ready to go. So,
Yeah.
so like, I wouldn't have time to set up all the gear that I want to use. So how do I figure out ways that I can just bring the loop station, set it down, plug it in? Like there's at some point it became so complex that like for a little while it stopped being fun. But like just for a few months, it was just like, this is like work. But to kind of rope into that though, you were asking the most freeing part of this.
Mhm.
And I would say that is the rehearsing. Like before, my rehearsals were all about trying to perfect a song so I can have that 3.5 minute song be perfect from beginning to end. And it has to go just like this: the first verse, the chorus, the second verse, the chorus. And I would be playing the instrumentals. So it was the same way every time.
Mhm.
That eventually that kind of got, I mean, I've been playing some of the same songs for like, I don't know. I hate to admit it, but
10 years.
over 10, yeah, 10, 15 years. So like,
You're old. You're old. You're getting up there.
I know, I know.
I think it's closer to 15 than 10, man.
Yeah, probably it is.
Yeah.
But I'd say the most freeing part now is like rehearsing now is figuring out all these buttons in my feet and what I can do with them, like learning my tools in the shed. So
Mhm.
that way when I start working on a project, I'm confident in what I'm doing or not doing on stage. Like the tools I decide to use and the tools I decide not to use in certain songs, like makes more sense to me. And it doesn't have to make sense to other people listening. But my thing is I want to get familiar with all this stuff. So the cool part now is that building a song from the ground up means that the song's not the same down here in my studio when I practice it as it is on a stage when I play it. And
Mhm.
then the next stage that I go, and then the next stage that I go. Like every time I'm starting over from the bottom up.
Yeah.
And that can seem very difficult to some people. They're like, why would you do that to yourself? Like, but I think it's the most freeing feeling that I don't have to be stuck in a box anymore. Like I'm
Yeah.
not stuck to this 3.5 minute instrumental that I have to play perfectly with. Like I can just, I can do whatever.
Just
But
create.
we want to run that hook again. Let's do it. Wait, you want to go, that verse is cool. Let's do it again. You want to add another verse on the fly? Like, let's do it. Like,
Oh, I love that.
I mean, I'm so free to create now. Like it's so wild. And I think that bringing people in on that, my biggest, yeah, my biggest thing is that I just want to resonate the joy that I'm having creating to other people. So in times where that gets boring to me, it's harder for me to resonate joy. Like
Yeah.
in times where that gets frustrating for me, it's harder to resonate joy. So
No, actually, I love that you said that because that rolls in right into the next question I wanted to ask you
perfect.
is what does joy actually mean to you now? What does joy look like?
Yeah, I think joy to me is the essentially the new high I'm chasing. I think for me, joy is that, yeah, is that it's more than just like you can find the happiness in what you're doing, but pure joy to me is that the it's the moment where I feel like I'm not stressed. I'm not worried, and I let everything roll off of my shoulders, and I'm just in the moment, like, and I couldn't be happier in that place. It's my zen, it's my whatever you want to call it, but that's my happy place. Like that's where I like being. So like when I get on a stage, I can like snap into that. It's like hypnosis. Like when I start creating music, it does something inside of me that like it starts inside of the heart and just uses my whole body to do whatever I can do. Like I can play piano a little bit, I can play guitar a lot, I can sing a little bit. Like there's a lot of things that I can do, but now I've got all these buttons at my feet. So like
Does it
I've
feel
got
like it comes through you or from you?
I think yeah, I think probably both. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know. That's a good point. I don't think that it's something that it's weird. I can create music
Mhm.
and I can feel that. Like, okay, like I can make this guitar sing a song, I can make a piano play, but like I don't feel like I can create joy like out of thin air.
Mhm.
And so but it's when I'm creating music that I feel that joy makes its way. And so in a way I do think it's kind of through me. The joy makes its way through me. And I want that to like somehow like a lighthouse burst out and other people in the room that watch it like get that contagious energy that they're like, okay, this guy, whatever it is, he loves what he does. And I just love watching him love what he's doing. Like I think that it's like I want to have so much fun that they have fun watching me
Yeah.
have fun.
Yeah.
It's
Do you ever get that feeling like this is like there's something bigger here? You know, this feels bigger than me while you're creating or you're in front of people even.
definitely some of the moments that I felt that were like, I mean, I'd say the first time that I really had a wake up call like that was, and this kind of gets a little deep, but I had a really close friend that used to come out to all my shows, and he'd request like the same two songs every time I'd play. And one of these songs he latched onto so much that he ended up writing it inside the front cover of a book. And and eh, fast forward a little bit, life got tough for him, and he ended up taking his own life, and that was a really hard thing for me to deal with. But his mom reached out to me a few weeks later and said, I found this book on his nightstand, and in the front cover he's got a direct quote from Jay Wheels, and it was the chorus to the song that I had written. Like, this was just words that I wrote originally when I was going back to, believe it or not, back to the college we went to. And they wanted me to write a song specifically for the students. That's most likely why they never brought me back after that, because I didn't hit them with the, oh, life is all fun and games, you know. I hit them with the truth. Like the chorus was life is harder. Um, they ain't lying when they say that life is harder when you're groaning on your own and overthrown into the water. But the rain never lasts forever, though. Take the pain of the past and just let it go. And it was a beautiful moment of just like we all carry something, but like we had little cards I passed out to everybody, and they got to write down things that they're hanging on to. And I told them throw it in my guitar case because when I leave, I want to carry that out the door for you. It was such a cool moment. Like and yeah, the whole chapel full of students all participated in that, and I still have all those cards, you know, that I skim through sometimes, like just to remind myself that there's people out there all the time that are struggling with something.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was that moment that his mom reached out to me and told me that it wrecked me in a lot of ways, but like in all the good ways too. Like it was like it made me realize that this music thing is not just writing words and putting guitar behind it and calling it a day. Like,
Yeah, like holy shit, this is this is weirdly aligned for
Yeah.
me. Like, this just feels right.
Yeah. And I'm like sad about all the circumstances around it, like of why that song is so important to me now. But, but like, but it's a reminder to me that my songs, even if I feel like I wrote them for this reason,
Mm.
like, I wrote them because I was struggling with things in college and I knew other college students possibly were too, but I didn't expect it to have such a impact on somebody that it would be the song that was carrying them through their final days here on earth. Like,
Mhm.
that it was the song that, I try to not think about it too much, but like, what if, what if he was going to do that 6 months prior, a year prior? And like that one song like helped him keep hanging on just a little bit longer and a little bit longer. Like, I'm sad because the reality and why I don't like to think about it too much is because, like, at the end of the day, if it even was a reason he was hanging on, it 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 wasn't enough, or it stopped serving a purpose. And so then it starts to get in my head like that something that there was something more I could have done, or that whole
Yeah. But then, I mean, there's that bigger picture. This feels bigger than me is you did see firsthand that what you are doing is keeping someone around, even if it is just for a little bit longer.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And the next person can hear another song and stay around a little bit longer, and who knows, there's gonna be someone else or another song that you release or whatever it may be that keeps them around a little longer, and then maybe they reach that just long enough to
Yeah.
find their own purpose and someone else. So it it does eat at you that you feel like I wasn't enough in that moment, but also hold on to the fact that you are enough. Maybe for the next person to hear that next song,
Mhm.
for them to stay around a little longer to find their purpose, and maybe their purpose is to help someone else out. You know what I mean? So keep doing what you're doing for that aspect right there and hold on to the, "Yes, he stuck around a little bit longer because of what I put out there,
Yeah.
and there's gonna be someone else who's gonna stick around a little longer and maybe find their purpose too." So, hold on to that. Thank you for sharing that. That was a lot.
Sorry.
No, 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 no.
Hey,
It's
sorry
okay.
about that.
It's beautiful. It really is because, I mean, I think there are more of us out there than would like to admit that have hit that rock bottom. I know I have, and I've said it on this podcast. It's not a secret that I hit that rock bottom
Mhm.
where I didn't wanna be around anymore, and there wasn't really anything that I could pinpoint that brought me out of it. I just came out of it on my own. I did it alone, which is why you're here now, which is why I'm doing what I'm doing, which is why I wonder why I exist, is because I need other people to know that they're not alone. And he was not alone. He found you and what you are putting out there.
Mhm.
And so that's why I'm having you here today to show people they are not alone. We have that community healing through connection is what we're doing here. So I'm grateful, I'm thankful that you shared that story and that you felt strong enough and felt like it was aligned for you to share that here. So I appreciate it.
So
Yeah. So do you think that creativity and the aspect that you're doing, and I know that beliefs on this podcast and with every relationship are not going to be perfectly aligned with everyone, but do you think that the creativity on your level is spiritual?
yeah, in a lot of ways, I feel like I'm a firm believer that like I'm, and some people would argue with this, but I'm not talented. Like, if I was talented, I could go on like America's Got Talent or American Idol or something and blow people's socks off. I'm actually too old for American Idol now, so that whatever.
Oof, that's
Yeah,
hurt
rude, rude.
my my hip.
Yeah. My
I
knee,
mean heart.
yeah. But my knees pop when I stand up, so I don't have to let me on there. But America's Got Talent or something, and if I don't feel like I got a shot there, like I can go like UK and go to Britain's Got Talent. I don't have like, I don't think I have what it takes to compete against the the ones that are truly talented. But I do believe that what I have is a gift, and I don't know where it came from. Like, there's a lot of development that I've done to help develop my gifts into what they are today. But I feel like every move I've been able to make with music, a lot of that has been like, I can't explain how it was done. Like the ways that I was able to like there's a lot of guys that would love to be able to travel across the United States and touch their feet in the Pacific Ocean and Atlantic Ocean and down in the Gulf of Mexico and say it was just because they had a guitar around their neck
Mhm.
and the willingness to go. But like, to do all that stuff with a wife and 3 kids and then to still come home and keep your wife and 3 kids, like that's a big thing. That's a huge deal. Like,
You might have them now. How are you keeping them?
yeah. Like, yeah, that's the thing. It's like a lot of musicians, they end up chasing the dream so hard that they lose their family, they lose everything around them because they're so intertwined with what they're doing. Like, I don't know, like, I can't explain a lot of it. Like, I can say that, like, now, like, the more grown up me is saying, like, I don't want to go on another tour like that if I can't take my kids with me. Like,
Mhm.
but I understood then it wasn't an option. But like, the next time I do it, I'm not going to do it again. There won't be a next time unless I can bring kids, like, and my wife. Like, I want them to be able to see the ocean with me. Like, that was the only part deep down where I'm like, this kind of hurts not having them here, or being able to video call them every day and stuff. Like, but I'm just saying, like, opportunities like that, like, and even like the show opportunities I have, like, sure, like, I've got to make some phone calls and send some emails, and I've got to practice, like, so that way it sounds decent. I've got to tear down all the gear in here and then set it up in on a stage somewhere, and I've got to put all this work into. But like, the moment everything's hooked up and it's showtime for 2 hours, it isn't work to me.
Mhm.
Like, it doesn't feel like work.
Right.
Something comes from deep within me, and it flows out, like, and or flows out or flows through. I don't, but it is. I really do feel like in a lot of ways that it has to be spiritual. Like,
Yeah.
as someone who grew up like very very religious, I would say I would say that the gift of even being able to play a guitar in the first place is definitely like a God given gift. It's not like a Josh created talent.
Hmm.
Like,
I mean, I can relate. Like leading up to this, or leading up to one of my one-on-one coaching sessions or something, almost a mindset
mhm,
switch, or like waking. I will say specifically, waking up this morning, I woke up to knowing I had like 3 things on my calendar that I needed to get done outside of making content, right? Content I have to do nearly every day, but outside of that, there were actually, like, set things on my calendar,
mm,
and, like, I asked for a full calendar, right? I asked for that, that's what I want, a full calendar, but there's also that old me, because 'cause I'm starting from scratch as well, that old me that's like, "Oh, that's so much. I just wanna sit in bed. I don't wanna do anything." But, like, then you're like, "No, I asked for this," and then you get that excitement, right? Like, "All right, once I just get out of bed and start moving for the day," you know? And still leading up to doing this with you, there's still that old mindset that's like, "Oh, I'm just kinda dreading it." Like, I just wanna watch TV, like, I don't really wanna, like, I wanna be there, but I don't really wanna be there. Like, it just sounds like, but what a blessing it is to be tired at the end of the day by doing something that you asked for,
yeah.
by doing something that you genuinely love. Now that I'm sitting here with you, like, I could probably talk to you for 4 or 5 hours. Like, I mean, we've almost done it before.
Yeah.
But it's like just getting out of bed. It's like just logging on, just start asking the questions, just start letting it flow. The one-on-one coaching sessions, I get through an hour so fast. I dread it because I sometimes because I'm like, "Oh, I just don't want to. I'm exhausted. I feel like my cup is empty. My cup's not empty. It's just that old me, that old mindset saying TV just sounds better. Netflix and chill. Like, because that's the old me. But once I sit down and I'm having those deep conversations with people, that 60 minutes flies by. And I'm like, well, I mean, I guess it's time to wrap it up.
Yeah.
There you go. That's it. So I definitely understand. I mean, it is spiritual. Like you're thankful for what you get to do every day. It's not, oh, I have to do this. It's I get to do this.
Yeah.
And then seeing I mean, you plant the seeds and you have to trust the roots are going down into the earth, and then you finally see them start to sprout. And that's really exciting. Getting feedback 2 months later from something you did 2 months ago is exciting too. And you're like, holy shit, what is working? Might not see it immediately, but this is resonating with people. And even if it's just one or two, but I mean, you start to see it grow, and that's really exciting.
Oh, yeah.
So I did want to ask, have you ever made something and it shocked you how good it was? You're like, oh my God, like this actually hits. This is actually really good. Is there something that you've created maybe recently? And you're like, okay. Because you did say that you start over pretty much every time you create something like clean slate. Is there ever something maybe you didn't want to delete,
Yeah.
but you
Well,
pushed the delete button anyways?
I have moments like, yes, I have the option. If I really love something I created, I can save it. And so that's kind of cool. Like I can save it to a separate memory box and then
Mhm.
just not use that one until I'm ready to use it at a show. And I don't know how many I've got. I don't, I think I've got at least 99, either 99 or 999 memory boxes. I'm not worried. I've only used two or three, but yeah,
Have you gone back through them at all since?
like, no, like when you do, it's like if you want to reuse parts of it, like, ooh, I really like I beatboxed and I liked it, like, but I couldn't recreate what I just did. Like, I'm not a beatboxer. Like, I don't normally do that, but I want percussion behind me, so I just start doing my.
What are the kids saying nowadays? Oh, that slaps.
Oh, I
That's
thought,
that what it is.
yeah, beatboxing. The kids these days say boots and cats and boots and cats.
That's what we said.
Yeah, boots and cats. Yeah.
Now
Oh,
you're
yeah.
aging us.
That was the kids' art. Yeah, I think the live looping part, like, I think just a lot of my big aha moments where I'm like, oh, wow, I just did that. Or just when I figure out all the buttons at my feet and they do the right thing. Like, you have to click them all at the right times and you got to start and stop things. And so like when I can run through a 3 minute song, or when I say 3 minute song, when I run through one song from beginning to end, the and I can make it all the way through, like, that's a victory moment for me.
Mm.
But then I practice again, but like, yeah, I'll wipe the slate clean. And when I say it's not the same every time, there's a part of me that, like, if I really love a melody or I love the way I played that on guitar, I'm probably going to play that the same way every time. Like, if I really love the way I laid that bass line down, I'm probably going to play that the same way. But like, when I say I can switch it up, like, I can switch up styles now, like, to where it can be really driven and like poppy, or it can be really like laid back, funky, bluesy. Like, and I love to have that versatility to be able
Yeah.
to play the same song two different ways. But that requires me to not hit the save button. So like, I just have to start over. And like, so what you get is like what I'm feeling in the moment, and not just like a pre-designed set list of instrumentals that I'm going to play along to try to entertain people. Like, I think, yeah, I think more of, yeah, on that side of things, I haven't really had like a certain song though, where it was like blew me out of the water what I did. Like, it was just more the fact that I did it. Like, and
Mhm.
I grew. A lot of my songwriting though is like that. Like, almost every time I write a song, I'm just like, I did that. Right. Like, what did I just say? I think that all the time. I was writing a song for my wife one time, and and just the lyrics that came out of me, like, when I was writing, it was just, uh, I said something along the lines, but I'm sure there's 100 guys who would love to try their hand at being better than me. And while I love a surprise, I never thought that I was the guy deserving of the love of a wife. You bring the better in me. Like, and it was like, what was that? Like, run that back. And so it was like, it may have not been like the coolest verse ever, but like the rhyme schemes inside of the rhyme itself.
Yeah.
It was the 100 guys that would love to try their hand at being better than me. And while I love a surprise, never guessed that I was the guy deserving of the love of a wife. You bring the better in me. Like it was the fact I was able to say what I wanted to say, but
Yeah.
then
And just
also do it in a creative way that flowed. Like,
yeah.
and it blows my mind every time. And like, people ask me, how do you do that? And I honestly, I would be teaching songwriting for a living if I knew how to do it. And like, that's why I say it's not something necessarily that I can just create from scratch. It's not something that I know the way to just sit down and do it. Like writing songs, I feel like is a gift as well.
Yeah.
And I just have to keep my cup ready to be refilled whenever and when it gets filled up, I start pouring.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
yeah.
I mean, that it sounds similar to when I do my one-on-one coaching and how kind of shocked I am sometimes about how like I'll reply to something, have this coaching moment, and I'm just like, I don't even know where those words came from. Like the just the way that I talk about healing and it just flows out. Like it's just what they need to hear in that moment. And I didn't put any thought behind it. It just comes to me and you just say it and sometimes it hits and sometimes I don't know, maybe it doesn't. But you just trust that it's gonna flow and resonate if it needs to, and if it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I definitely can't write songs though. I've wrote a few poems, so maybe I'm on the brink of it, but
That could be a
songs
song.
it could be, maybe. I don't know. They're not like rhyming poems though, so
Then you take the poems, which are nicely orchestrated words that
nicely
that
orchestrated
moves
words. There you go.
them with meaning, and you take those and then you work with somebody that can't stop rhyming things all the time, and then it turns into a song. You know,
Well, where am I gonna find somebody like that?
I don't have any.
No idea. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. No,
Um,
the rhyme schemes are fun, but that's how I operate. Like, and most of the time, it's when I get in a car and I listen to a song, and I try to find anything that rhymes with it that's not what they're singing. So half
okay.
the time, I don't even listen to real lyrics.
I
Like,
love that.
um, you know that song that went viral like a year or two back, or maybe longer. It was that. Well, I've been selling my soul, working all day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Overtime hours for yeah. Anyway, that one. I came in right away. I love selling my soul and said, I love cinnamon rolls. and like and then I ended up writing a whole verse about it. Like I love selling my soul. I love cinnamon rolls. Like it was funny, same syllables, but it rhymes. Jelly rolls, I've got a long hair. I'm a long haired son of a sinner, you know.
Yeah.
I said, I've got a long beard, I need a trimmer. You know? Mom said I look weird. I need a shave. You know,
That's crazy.
I
So
mean,
you mentioned in the car, you just like you get inspired in the car listening to random songs. Is there like a random place that maybe in the moment felt unhinged that you just got inspired, but in this moment?
um, like outside of the car listening to radio.
Yeah, like what's the most random place that you've been inspired?
The most random would be like in the bathroom at work. Like, I mean, it happens when a song comes to you, you don't ask questions. Um, but I'd say a lot of like just trying to think of it, but because this we didn't pre-plan these questions, so I got brainstorm.
Well,
Um, one thing that I'm really like with songwriting, I don't like to write songs around other people
hmm,
because I do a lot of this. Um, I have to listen to the song in my head from the beginning to where I'm at now, and then keep building onto it because I'm hearing the song from the beginning of the song, and so I start writing through, and so I'll sit there and sing like the first 8 lines that I have made, and then I just start humming a melody. Like some of my stuff comes with, I knew I wanted to write a song about overthinking, so I was like, how funny would it be if the song comes in with, I think I overthought about it, like that line came, and so I sang in the like, this was in the car. Like most 90% of my writings in a car when I'm by myself because I crank the radio all the way off and it's just me and my thoughts. And I'm just like, I think I overthought about it. Like I hear the next line saying like, I hear the melody, but I don't have the words yet. So
mhm.
then later it comes where I fill that in with like a line with, it's like, I think I overthought about it. I slept it off and only thought that I forgot about it. And and so like I know
So
it
literally
has,
writing a song about overthinking about the song that you're writing.
and that
Yeah.
that there was a lot of overthinking in the process of writing it. So
But it pretty much wrote itself then.
yes, yes. Um like yeah, the next part was like I think too much. I'm letting that sink in. And now that I think about it, I think I'm thinking again. Like the funny part is like I didn't have that third line. Like I knew I wanted to end it with in some way, because I think I overthought about it, slept it off, only thought that I forgot about it. Then I had to and then I had like the last line was, and now that I think about it, I'm overthinking again. And so I knew like I wanted it to rhyme with overthinking again. So I started thinking of rhyme schemes. And that was when I came up with, I think that I think too much. I'm letting that sink in. And so like it sometimes like the songs don't just write themselves in like an order that's perfect
Mhm.
to somebody else. And so in my notes, it's like line one, line two, a space because I know something's supposed to go there. And then line four. Like um there's times I write the second verse before I write the first verse. Times I write the bridge before I write the chorus, like it just really depends. But it every time though, every time I don't like writing around my kids. Like I don't like writing around my wife because I'm sitting there like I'm like mumbling to myself, like pick it up, pick your slip. Yeah, it's like what?
Well, I mean, what if no, what if one of your kids is around to hear it and light bulb, he wants to follow dad's footsteps, you know?
They have been. See, if I brought them down, into my studio, taught them some of my workflow. But the problem is that I get back to that whole point of like, I'm not really gifted at teaching, and I don't know what it is, but I, people ask me all the time if I'd give guitar lessons, Like, no, because I don't know how to go back to square one with you. Like, I don't know how to meet you where you're at square one. Never picked up a guitar to get you to where I'm at, you know? Like, I don't know. I don't like, yeah, there's, okay, we'll just start basic baby steps. You can, however you want to work. I'm like, no, just put your fingers like this and just drum. Like, like,
I
oh,
don't know. Maybe you're just a different type of teacher. Has anyone told you that you're not a good teacher, or have you told yourself you're not a good teacher?
just me. Yeah. Just me.
Because I, when I first started Wonder Why, I I was not on the coaching aspect side of it. I knew I could have those conversations, but to me, they were just conversations. I started it as me being the bridge or the support system between the guides, which are the coaches, the mentors, the teachers, and the seekers, the people seeking out, the guides. I wanted to be the bridge between the two because I was like, "Ugh, I'm not really a teacher." And then I started having those conversations, and people started saying, you really know, how to ground someone, and you know what to say, the right words, and this and that." And now I found that I was just telling myself I wasn't good enough to be the coach. I was afraid to be seen in that aspect. Now, I'm not saying you're a great teacher. I have no idea. I'm just saying don't let the little man in your head, because Mikey up here, we've talked about Mikey, my little Mikey is my thoughts. I let Mikey tell me that I wasn't a good teacher. Now, if someone told me that, then maybe it'd be a little different. Probably not, because I don't listen to anyone anymore. But still, you know what I mean? If you
yeah.
never know, you could surprise yourself.
I think you're right though. I don't think anybody's ever said you can't teach guitar lessons. Matter of fact, everybody says the opposite. Why don't you teach guitar lessons? Why don't you teach songwriting? Like you've written so many songs. Like, why don't you, you know, that
I don't know. I can just picture you bringing someone up on the stage and just doing a quick little 10 or 15-minute, let me show you how this works real quick type of deal. You know what I mean?
yeah,
To some, 15-year-old kid who already kind of knows how to play the guitar and being like, and now you've just inspired this, 13-year-old kid in a matter of 10 minutes to do what you do.
yeah, that would be I could see that too.
I'll go off Google Meet.
Yeah. Google meet me outside. How about that?
See, that's what I'm talking about. This is the lyric right there. You just dropped a random lyric. I can't do that shit.
It's because the brain moves at 1,000,000 miles per hour. Somebody actually told me that that's my strength and my weakness at the same time.
Mhm.
The way my brain moves, it moves so fast that um, all I, my brain knows what it wants to do. Sometimes the body's got to catch up to it, um, but like my brain's moving all the time, and it would work. And it's not like ADHD. It is and it isn't.
Mhm.
I've never had a doctor tell me I have ADHD, so I'm not going to sit there and say that I do because I don't
Have
want
you
that.
asked a doctor?
No, I'm not going to do
Oh,
that. It's something I do. Then he's going to say that I do.
yeah, definitely. Don't ask.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to have.
Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, because I know what happens next. The problem is I recognize I probably do have ADHD.
Mhm.
I tell people all the time it's self-diagnosed ADHD.
Mhm.
I used to stay undiagnosed, but I diagnosed it myself. So it's with that. I choose not to bring that up to a doctor or get tested for it because I'm in fear that they're going to try to medicate that.
Mhm.
Because and the thing is
It's your strength.
yeah, I don't want to stop that because that's like I'm scared that if I get on medications that slow down my thinking and like cause me to bring some of my anxiety down, you know. Like I feel like anxiety and passion are kind of intertwined as two of the as one of the same sometimes inside of me. Like the way I feel when I'm overly passionate about something is the same way that I start feeling when I'm super anxious about something. So like I don't want to calm the passion nerve, you know, like
Mhm.
in trying to calm down the anxiety. Like in the same way, I don't want to cure the ADHD in the way that my brain moves a million miles an hour. And then all of a sudden my creativity is out the door because I can't create songs the way I do, like pulling things out of thin air like that. Like that's just I don't know. Part of me never wants to cure that.
Mhm.
And like this is who I am. I'm lucky I found somebody in this world of 7 billion plus people that loves me for who I am. And
Mhm.
that's like, you know, that's like huge to me. And then I got a chance to make 3 miniature versions of me that are gonna wrestle with the same stuff one day, you know? Woohoo.
I mean, that if that's not self-love, I don't know what is.
Took a long time to get here though, because I didn't used to love myself. Think I yeah, I don't know. I think that's why there's more than 12 reasons why I feel like I'm, like, super aligned with what you're doing now, but, like, the biggest is just that, like, I know that I've been on my own journey of healing. Like,
Mhm.
not that I sat down and ever said, "I'm gonna do this today."
Right.
Like you intentionally sat down and said, "I'm gonna heal from this." Like, I think I just kinda, came to points in my life where I felt like I had to heal. Like, I'm
Mhm.
I'm I'm not okay, and I gotta figure out like, I didn't go read any books. I didn't go ask for help. Like, I just tried to figure it out on my own.
Mhm.
And and the biggest part was that I didn't like the way that other people's opinion of me and who I am is what I was led to believe about myself. Like that being the smallest guy in the classroom all the time, I was bullied like all the way through middle school, high school. It
Mhm.
wasn't until I got to college that I actually found connections with people who didn't care how big I was or how small I was, I should say. Um, nobody cared about that. They're
Mhm.
just like,
The
this,
biggest personality wrapped in the smallest packaging.
yeah, like, oh man, you know, I, I feel like college was my way. Like when I first got away from high school, it was just like a breath of fresh air. Like, yeah, I dealt with some struggles while I was at college too, but the important part though is that I was able to heal from a lot of the bullying and stuff, you know. Some of the stuff that was done to me, said to me, this things that I went through in high school and middle school. In today's I shouldn't even say today's day of age. Like I would just say there are several kids that wouldn't be able to handle what I went through.
Mhm.
The fact that I was able to come out on the other side of that is huge. And so, yeah, I feel like in a lot of ways, like, yeah, I don't think I'd be great for a healing coach, but then that's that brain coming in,
Mhm.
telling me that. But but I feel like I could be a good advocate, and I feel like that's a lot of the reason that not just building something from the ground up, but the fact that it took a lot of healing to even get here to be able to sit here and talk to you today, like, um, to maintain the friendship that we've had for so long, like. I'm not going to say how long because it makes me feel old again.
I mean, I,
But
s- I still, well, I'm three years older than you, I think. So it's okay.
let's try not.
It's okay.
Let's just try not to do that.
It's hard. um, but I mean, I feel like that, that's what you do through your music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To be able to get up there and just, I mean, I talk about it all the time. The highest frequency is authenticity.
Hmm.
Well, people often think it is love or you know, whatever all the frequencies, but like it's just authenticity and be able to be authentically yourself and get up on a stage and do it in front of people is crazy and and be willing to be seen
Yeah.
doing it. And I think that's where a lot of people flee. It's not the fear of anything else. It's just the fear of being seen
Sure.
without the mask on. And I don't know if you've experienced it, but we'll go off a little bit on authenticity. But once you see yourself without the mask, it's so easy to see how many masks other people wear,
Yeah.
and that you just want to be like, just take your mask off. Who are you? Who
Yeah.
who are you really though? And you just want to be like, I bet you are the most beautiful person ever. And you get excited for them, and then they just, make that decision to I think that's the hardest part for me as a coach is to just walk away from it, and not want to discover who they really are. Because I mean, I remember you from college, and I mean, you're the same person, yes, but now you're unapologetically yourself.
Yeah.
And that's huge. You're not scared to get in trouble from the teachers or, whatever, you're unapologetically yourself, and you're creating something that really resonates with you. And it's beautiful. And I'm like, if people only, didn't feel like they had to walk into a room and make sure everyone around them was happy, but instead make themselves happy and then attract the people
Yeah.
that are going to, lift you up. You don't have to work to make the people around you happy because you've attracted them with your own authenticity. And then you just want to scream it from the rooftop. So just having you out there living your authentic self is a beacon, is that lighthouse that we talk about
Yeah.
for other people. So, I mean, even if you struggle seeing it, I see it. And I know other people see it. Like, your every song may not be about self-love and authenticity and spirituality and healing, but it gives off the light of all of those things
Mm.
because it's authentically you. You're doing what you love unapologetically, and I think it's a beautiful thing. So, thank you. Kinda to go back to, starting from the ground up or, kinda where we began here. Um, what would you say to someone who feels stuck, but they know that they're meant for more? And it might come back to the moment you knew that you were meant for more. Because I have found that you get that imposter syndrome. That first time that the thought of I'm meant for more, it feels icky the first time you get that thought. It feels like ego. It's like, oh, I'm meant for am I meant for more? Me? Out of all these, I'm meant for more? So, what would you say to someone who knows that they're meant for more? What would you say their first step is or, something along those lines?
Yeah. I'd say the first thing is you have to fully believe in yourself. And because that belief in yourself is going to override that icky feeling of not being able, because if you don't have any beliefs in your abilities, then the moment that you tell yourself you can't do it, you're probably right. You know, like That's the sad reality. Like, um, I like it's that whole, like you can say you can do it or you can say you can't do it. Either way, you're right. Like, um, i- if you totally believe in yourself, and it's those easier said than done, right? Like, but if you can fully believe in yourself and your abilities, then when you get to that phase of, I don't think, who am I to be, oh, like for me, it was just like trying to build a name and release music and stuff. Like heck, when I created J Wheels, like I was like, who's, you know, like J Wheels was to be honest, I wrote some Christian raps. I used to write Christian music, and then I started writing a few Christian raps.
Mhm.
When I wrote Christian, like this Christian music I was releasing it on YouTube under Josh Lightsey. And then when I released the rap, like there was one song I released the rap and it was Jay Wheels, and this is where the whole two personas things comes from. Like I released songs saying Josh Lightsey featuring Jay Wheels because I was singing most of the time, but then there was one part where Jay Wheels came in and slayed a verse for me. And yeah, it was me the whole time. Like it was, like, but then beyond that, I started performing. Um, I was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We were on a youth group conference, and there was a guy talking to me. I was like, "Yeah, I write some music." He goes, "Can I hear something?" And I said, I don't have the song recorded on my phone." He goes, "Just can you spit it a cappella for me?" And I was like, "Oh, all right." And so I gave him an a cappella, and he said, "I'm a rapper. I go by A Son, and I'm going to be performing tonight. If you can be here by this time with your song on a flash drive or email on your phone, I'll get you up on stage to open up for me tonight, or you can come up while I'm taking a drink break." This guy in the middle of his set brings me up on stage in front of like 3,000 kids, and I had no idea what I was getting myself into. But like it was the roar of the crowd, like I was up there like, at the intro of the song, I was like Jay Wheels, and like it felt funny because I was like, but I had people cheering for me, screaming. Like I've got videos still of people in my youth group who are holding their phones up, recording me, right? And like you could hear them screaming when I came out on stage and like was announced. And it was like those people believing in me almost got me further than me believing in me.
Mhm.
So like step one, believe in yourself. But step two, find people in your corner that are going to push you upwards. No one's going to believe in your dream bigger than yourself though. So
Mhm.
that's why I say step one is you've got to believe in yourself. But step three is don't care what anybody says, do it anyways. Like don't seek approval. Like that would be my biggest I can't say, but yeah, believe in yourself, be around people who believe in you as well. But
Don't
regardless what the
don't
world
seek
says,
that outside validation.
yeah, don't seek the
Yeah.
validation. Just do it.
Mhm.
Like you um and then I think beyond that, like I don't think anybody woke up one day, like I I don't know. Like you can name anybody, like, like Wiz Khalifa, Charlie Puth, I don't think
Oprah.
yeah, Oprah. Yeah,
Jobs. Like,
yeah. I don't
I
think
get the big of the big.
yeah, Steve Harvey even said like he never, he had a dream that he was going to be on TV one day. But even if you asked him today, he probably would have never believed that it was going to look like the success that he has today.
Right.
See, and he gives all that to God. Like he said, like there was definitely a God thing that I'm here where I am. Like, yeah, a lot of it was definitely God opening those doors for you. But
Mhm.
that started with a dream from little Steve Harvey saying, "I'm going to be on a TV one day."
Mm-hmm.
Without that dream, like, yeah, I'm sure he said in his own head, like, nobody who was Steve to have his own TV show. Like,
Right.
you know, he doesn't
You,
feel like that now, So like,
do you think that people wait too long to start? How do you know when to start?
I feel like when you're ready, when you're ready to buckle down and go for it is go time. Like, I don't think there is a right or wrong time.
What does ready look like?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Um,
I think
cause
I think if you wait till you're ready, you're gonna be waiting forever. I mean, you did say when you are ready to buckle down, not when it feels right. Like when you're ready to start. But like your outside world is never going to look like it's ready.
no,
But
no.
when your internal world says, I want this, start.
Yeah, the circumstances around you are almost always going to fight against you. Like,
Right.
they're not going to, like,
I'm living in a hotel right now. Recording this. I started in a empty 1-bedroom apartment in Denver. I had a dream to continue this in California, and I'm in California now. And didn't take the route that, I thought I'd take to get here, but I got here, right? The
mm,
path of least resistance, and now I'm living in a hotel. I was living in a motel, so I'm step up.
that,
So I mean, it doesn't feel ready, but honestly, at the end of the day, I'm happy with what I'm doing. I got the setup. I got a cool purple wall behind me.
I
You
like,
know what I mean? Like I'm happy with it. So I don't your circumstances don't care.
no,
The universe or God or divine source, whatever you guys out there want to call it. It's not asking for perfection, it's asking for participation. So
yeah,
taking that next step. And we've had a lot of conversations about that, but
hmm
taking that next right step, the puzzle piece will fall into place when it's supposed to. Just take the next right step and trust that it'll work out the way that it's supposed to. Which kind of leads me to my next question for you. What kept you from starting sooner?
the biggest thing that was holding me back from that was that for the longest while, I got really like, we got a fat flashback like 12, 13 years ago. Um, when I was creating music, actually even longer than that ago, when I was creating music in college, like, and got recording gear my second year of college, set it up in my dorm room, and I was figuring out how to record music for the first time. And then after post college, the first year or two, trying to figure out all this gear, I didn't have the greatest of stuff, like, but I was figuring it out. So I would say, post college, when I was trying to figure out my recording system and stuff,
Mm,
um, I wasn't the greatest, but I knew how to take, very cheap microphone and make it sound like it wasn't as cheap as it really was. And I was doing that with GarageBand. Like, and then it got to the point when like I was producing some of my own stuff, like, or engineering my own music and stuff. And then I started getting a few artists ask me if I would record their music, and then a few more artists, and then a few more artists. Before you knew it, I didn't know what to charge. Like, I'm just like, sure, like $20 for what? An hour? No, just a song. $20 per song. Like, what? All right. So they'd come over and some people would spend an hour with me, $20. That's not bad. But some people would spend 3 hours with me, $20.
mm,
Some people would spend 6 hours with me, $20. then some people would get upset about the quality after they listened to it when they went home, and they would come back and fix it and spend another 6 hours with me and then say, I already paid you $20. That was
Mhm.
a song. And so then I had to start reassessing. I had to say, like, okay, I'm going to charge hourly. When I
Mhm.
started charging hourly, I lost a lot of my clientele. Matter of fact, all of my local clientele done. And then somebody, most likely in that circle, broke in my apartment in the middle of the night and stole all my recording gear. Prior to then, I never had any issues with anybody taking any of my stuff. I trusted everybody I had in there as far as
Mhm.
that's their but, but you know, but my, to get to the point, I ended up still working with a few artists, but then a lot of my mission was to release music. I was still releasing music, but then I was spending so much time working with other artists. And I'm not one to name drop to cause issues, and you know, to each their own. Like,
Mhm.
I do not blame anybody for all the time that I invested in other people other than myself. I do not blame anybody other than myself for allowing it. Like, for allowing it to go on for as long as it did.
Mhm.
Um, I allowed myself to be a welcome mat for people to walk over, to be taken advantage of, and I had enough with that. And so, um,
And that's hard for an empath.
it really is.
It's
It
hard
really
for an
is.
empath.
It's super hard. Actually, like, I'd say it was within like the last year that,
Mhm.
I had to, it was almost a whole year ago, that I had to cut ties
Mhm.
and say, like, I'm done. Like, I'm done being taken advantage of. But there's a part of me that hurts because I want to help. Yeah, I think I recognized that there was something I was bringing to the table, but I also recognized who was just there to eat.
Mhm.
And like,
Yeah.
I
Go
I
louder for the people in the back.
yeah. Oh yeah. Um, I think the harder part is realizing that, while I am an empath, I can't change that. That's who I am, I wouldn't want to change that. I care a lot about people. I feel what they feel, I don't love it all the time, but but I do, for the most part, love
Yeah.
that part about me. Um, because because of the compassion, like,
Mhm.
I'm very compassionate towards people, um, and their needs, and so, when I recognize that there's needs that I could fill, I'm like, let me do it, like, when I recognize that, I can make this song sound way better than any other guy you're going to take it to, let me do it. But like, yeah, you're right though. Like, at some point it's like, okay, well, I just spent, you know, I did, as soon as I got home from working 8 hours in a day, I came straight home and then spent 4 hours working with you on a song while I ignore, the whole world going on around me.
Mhm.
I don't spend any time with my wife and my kids. They go to bed, and then I'm still working on your stuff. And then you still want, and then you need it by a certain time. But like 4 hours is the time we spent together. But then you still want me to spend 2 more hours cleaning it up. And now I've got 6 hours deep into it, and you just paid me $30. How am I supposed to go to my wife and tell her that, oh, sorry, sorry, babe, I was making $5 an hour down in the basement, like, it's like, right. I mean,
Here's here's some pizza money for tonight.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
But I mean, honestly, it just, there's a part of me that just said, like, this isn't worth it anymore for me, and like, when I finally hit that crossroad, it was like taking all of my gear and running all the sound for $0. I would drive, with all my gear, taking it 14 hours away to make nothing, like that's, I can't do that, and nobody in the right mind would, like it's time that we get contracts out and start figuring out an even dollar split here. But like, but when you're sitting there trying to blend friendships and contracts, it doesn't ever work out. But when you try to blend, try to take a friend and turn them into a business partner, rarely works out.
Mhm.
Because you can't be friends with people you work with. Like it's just true.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you
it
and you
works for
have
a
you
little bit.
have those thoughts though, and you're like every time you click with someone in a meeting or whatever, you're like, "Oh, we could work together." I've learned to immediately say no.
Yeah,
Because, like, of
yeah,
course I want someone to help build this and have that relationship with, and then I'm like, I don't trust you. I don't trust anyone. Like, and yeah, it never works out.
yeah. The biggest thing I've learned in the last year is that like I don't go to work to make friends, and I don't have my friends to make work. And that's probably like the biggest like learning lesson for me. And why I didn't start Lightsey Loops sooner is because I didn't have that wake up call sooner. Like
Mhm.
I needed I needed everything around me to get to a dead end stop and say, yeah, yeah, exactly.
Wake up.
Yeah. I needed that. Like,
So what finally pushed you to go for it then?
um,
Was there a moment? Or were there a series of moments? Or you're just like, now you're just here and you're here, you know?
yeah, it was, I mean, honestly, it was through cutting those ties because like part of Jay Wheels um, got to be known around on across the US at shows. Um, a lot of the Jay Wheels was known as, so and so's guitarist or so and so's producer or, like I wasn't my own artist and like, but I was, I had my own music, but like it could never go, if my songs could never go above where, you know, this person is because they felt like they always had to be on top.
Mhm.
And like I don't I don't feel like that energy is anything that I need to be around because that's nothing that I would ever, I would never put out that energy myself. Like
Mhm.
so like why should I tolerate it? Like and then you ask yourself like, okay, well, sure, sometimes we tolerate like negative energy at work because well, you're there for a paycheck, like so sometimes you can make through working with, shitty people because you're getting a paycheck at the end of the day, just like they are. But like I had to draw the line because I wasn't getting no paycheck.
Right.
It's like, so then why am I tolerating this? Like, and I don't need to. So when I cut ties, I said, well, it's really hard because Jay Wheels was attached to that movement for, you know, better part of a decade. So I mean, it was like it was hard because a lot of my fans were his fans, and a lot of people who supported me supported him, which is fine. Like
Mhm.
totally okay with that. But he's not. you know, um, he it is what it is. But like at the end of the day, I know that there's a part of him that like to be able to talk it out again. But like the thing is like once you've mended fences 3 different times and it doesn't work out,
Yeah.
it's never gonna work out. So I'm gonna stop pulling a dead horse around, and I'm gonna buckle down and get down to whatever I got to get to. And
Yeah.
so that's where I finally had the decision where I'm like, okay, I don't want to be tied to that anymore. So I want to come out with something totally different, like a whole new brand. And it wasn't because of this one person. It was just because of the whole entire image. The brand
Mhm.
was all attached to that. And and I wanted to throw that behind me. So a lot of that is healing, but I don't ever really talk about it.
Before we, get into kind of the end of this, I've been talking for, like I told you, we could talk for a long time. But is there anything else? Is there anything else you wanted to talk about or add before? Because I got a couple more questions for you, but it's, we're gonna put a little bow tie and send it off here in a minute. But is there anything else that you felt like you wanted to throw in there before we move on?
Honestly, I would just say that wherever, whoever's listening, wherever you are currently, if that's on the creative side or building a business or building a dream or still in the dreaming and scheming phase, um, I would just say that don't stop, don't quit. There's been so many times where I've wanted to hang it up, and so many times where I said, let me just sell all of this.
Go get it. Go back to the 9 to 5.
The 12-year-old me wanted all this.
Mm-hmm.
And like 12-year-old me would be so excited and jumping up and down to know that I've got all this stuff now. 12-year-old me didn't want to wait 10 years or 20 years to acquire all of it. But now everything I do, a lot of that's for 12-year-old me.
Mm-hmm.
Because 12-year-old me didn't get to live this life. And so now that I do, I'm basically living like I was a kid again. Yeah.
You know. But
You know.
I mean, it's funny that you say 12-year-old me, because like I think back to like 6-year-old me, 10-year-old me, 13-year-old me, and I had these dreams, and then you hit a point where society gets to you, and they're like, well, actually, you need to have these dreams to get a house and start a family and retire and, go on your one vacation a year, maybe. And 9 times out of 10, and I can't say this is with science fact, but 9 times out of 10, I've realized that if you're wondering what you should do in life, do what kid you wanted to do. Because they didn't have a veil over their eyes as a kid. It was innocence.
Yeah.
Do what kid you wanted to do. Because kid me wanted to be different, wanted to travel, didn't want to be buckled down to anyone or anything. Kid me wanted to have the animals and the land and the horses, and that's what I'm working towards now. Doesn't matter how scared you are. So it's funny that I said that, because if someone is scared to start over, terrified, if someone is just terrified to start over from scratch, from the beginning, what would you tell them? Just give me a couple sentences.
Sure. I got you. I would, if somebody's scared to start over, you have to find, first off, your reason why. You need to have that as your core. And then after you have your reason why instilled in you, that's gonna be the motor to keep driving you. But when it gets to starting over, is really hard and very overwhelming when you think about all the different things that you have to do. And when you think about all the different things that you're gonna lose, and think of all the things you're gonna gain and all the things that you need to do to get there, it is overwhelming. But like you and I have talked about, one step at a time. You just take the next step, and the next step that feels right to you. Like if it's just, if it's just deleting first step is deleting the Facebook page, and that seems pretty hard. Just do it.
So, with that said, what is the next step for you in Lightsey Loops? What's next for you that you're really excited about?
Putting out some merchandise. So
Nice.
I'm gonna get some merchandise, and not really to like sell online necessarily, but to start with, more just because Lightsey Loops is a live music experience, and so it's to be experienced in person. Um, Not that I won't do things on YouTube and TikTok and the such, but like as far as my merchandise goes, in the beginning, it's just going to be available at live shows. And
Okay.
so I have something to sell on the side of the table. The biggest reason for that is because I'm making everything. So if if I if I get to a point when I can make hundreds and then be ready for orders to come flying in, then I might push it to online. But until then, I want to keep up with the demand. And right now,
So what if someone finds this and they shoot you a DM?
shoot
And they're
me,
like, I love that shirt. Send me one.
shoot me that DM. If you like your
Alright.
shirt, I can probably get you one. It's gonna cost a little bit, but it's not that much. No, we'll talk about it. I think it's like 25 or 30. If I gotta ship it to you, probably 30. But anyways, we're not talking prices right now. We're just talking shirts. If you guys want a shirt that looks like that, says Lightsey Loops, has the logo, yeah, shoot me a DM, find me on Facebook's the easiest way. And then TikTok's another, those are about the two ways right now. Facebook at Lightsey Loops and
And just to let you guys know, I will drop all of Josh and Lightsey, say Josh slash Lightsey Loops' info. I'll have it in the bio. You guys will be able to find him pretty easily. So I will make sure that he is easily accessible to you, but not too easy because energy exchange, right? We talked about that. Fair energy exchange. Not too accessible. But you'll be able to find him and hopefully be able to reach out through DMs and maybe snag you guys a shirt from the early stages of Lightsey Loops. Be like, I knew him from way back when, right?
yeah, I got a shirt before I even heard him play a song.
God,
Like
you
that's
bet
what,
you don't recognize this shirt.
yeah.
The G-shirt right here,
You
you
know, to
youngins.
be honest, my wife doesn't even have one yet. So beat her to it, beat her to it. There's
I got-
one. This is a one of one, but
All right. You may want to get her a shirt.
well, my wife's the one who ordered this from. Well, this one was ordered for me by my wife. Why she didn't order her one too, I don't know. I wasn't there, but she got it for me for Christmas. She got
Oh,
me a
I love
shirt
that.
and a hoodie, and so at least I know the plug on where to get these shirts made, and I will be putting in a bulk order here very soon.
Well, Josh, feels weird calling you that.
No, it's like who's this? Who's
I mean, I did say I would share. So Chives here. Chives is his butler name. Back in college, he drove the getaway vehicle for our small little friend group, and we wanted to give him a butler name. And we were reaching for Jeeves, I think, in the moment, but Chives came up and it stuck. And so yeah, this is Chives. But
Chives the butler?
so with that said, Chives, Josh, Lightsey Loops, thank you so much for being my first guest ever on Wonder Why Building a Sacred Sanctuary and sharing about your sacred sanctuary that you are building. Um, Again, guys, if you want to follow him on his journey, I will make sure all of his social media stuff is tagged. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me today.
Thank you so much for allowing me to. And next time we'll have to do this in person. Like,
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully, Wonder Why hits the road pretty soon. We can have a cup of coffee and see where we stand in maybe a few weeks. I don't know. Maybe this summer I can make my way out to wherever you are. You can come out and visit me in California. We can have a cup of coffee and do this again.
I would love that.
Thanks for being here, Wanderers of the Soul. If this episode moved you, share it with someone who needs it. Remember, healing isn't linear, becoming isn't perfect, and you're allowed to take up space while you figure it all out. Keep healing, keep becoming, and keep choosing yourself. Until next time, sending love, light, and positive vibes. I love you all.